Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to lecture number 3 of the course on statistics and probability. Students, आपको याद होगा कि लास्ट टाइम हमने दो मेन कॉन्सेप्ट डिस्कस किए थे, सैम्पलिंग और मेथड्स ऑफ डेटा कलेक्शन. सैम्पलिंग के अंदर हमने मुख्तलिफ जो टेक्निक्स हैं सैम्पलिंग की उन पे एक ब्रीफ डिस्कशन की थी और सबसे ज़्यादा वक्त हमने सिंपल रैंडम सैम्पलिंग को दिया था, जिसके साथ हम इस कोर्स के दौरान ज़्यादा वक्त गुजारेंगे. दूसरा जो टॉपिक था दैट वाज मेथड ऑफ डेटा कलेक्शन, और उसमें हमने जो मुख्तलिफ इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स हैं या मुख्तलिफ मेथड्स हैं डेटा कलेक्शन के वो डिस्कस किए थे, जैसा कि इंटरव्यू मेथड, क्वेश्चनेयर मेथड और डायरेक्ट पर्सनल ऑब्जर्वेशन वगैरह. इन टुडेज लेक्चर I will discuss with you various techniques of representing the data that we have collected. In particular, today I will deal with you about the techniques for representing qualitative data, which will include tabulation, bar chart, multiple bar chart, component bar chart, pie chart, and some other things of the sort. You can see on the screen a tree diagram which gives you the two broad categories of data that you have. As mentioned in the first lecture also, you will distinctly remember that there are two types of data, qualitative data and quantitative data. Today, I will be picking up the qualitative category of data, and I will discuss with you the various ways of representing qualitative data in case of a univariate situation as well as in case of a bivariate situation. For the univariate situation, we will be constructing the frequency table, and also we will be drawing the pie chart and the bar chart. For the bivariate frequency table, we will be doing the component bar chart and the multiple bar chart. Let us begin with an example. Suppose that we are carrying out a survey of the students of first year जो लाहौर के एक co-educational कॉलेज में पढ़ रहे हैं. Suppose that in all there are 1200 students जो इस कॉलेज के फर्स्ट ईयर में पढ़ रहे हैं, और हम इस बात में इंटरेस्टेड हैं कि हम ये पता करें कि इनमें से कितने स्टूडेंट्स उर्दू मीडियम स्कूलों से आए हैं और कितने स्टूडेंट्स इंग्लिश मीडियम स्कूलों से आए. So what will we do? Obviously we will conduct an interview. I mean, that's one way we can do it, कि हम इन सब का इंटरव्यू कर लें और उनसे सिंपली ये बात पता करें कि वो किस स्कूल से आए. As a result, we will obtain a set of data like what you can now see on the screen. We will have a set of observations like Urdu, Urdu, English, Urdu, English, English. यानी जैसे जैसे आपको जवाब आते गए उसके मुताबिक आप वो डेटा आपका आ जाएगा. Now the question is, what should we do with this data? Obviously, the first thing that comes to mind is to count the number of students who said Urdu medium and the number who said English medium. Suppose करें कि उन 1200 स्टूडेंट्स में से 719 ने कहा कि वो उर्दू मीडियम स्कूलों से आए हैं और 481 ने कहा कि they have come from English medium schools. This will result in a table of the kind that you can now see. First column में obviously we will write Urdu and English medium, and in the second column we will write number of students belonging to each of these categories. अब आप नोट कर रहे होंगे कि सेकंड कॉलम में मैंने एक लेटर लिखा हुआ है, and that is F. Now, what does F represent? F is the notation for the term frequency. And this is a very, very important term in statistical terminology. And what do I mean by frequency? It means how frequently something happens. कितनी मर्तबा ऐसा हुआ. चूंकि 1200 स्टूडेंट्स में से 719 ने कहा कि हम उर्दू मीडियम स्कूलों से आए हैं, इसलिए द फ्रीक्वेंसी ऑफ दैट फर्स्ट category of students is 719. Similarly, the frequency for the English medium schooling is 481. Frequency तो मिल गई, but I think you will agree that this information is not as useful as if I was to convert these figures into percentages. So that is the next step, as you now see on the screen. We will simply divide the frequency of the first cell 719 by the total 1200 and multiply by 100 in order to get the percentage of students falling in the first category, that is Urdu medium. So as you can see, 60% of the students in the first year of this particular college have come from Urdu medium schools, and 40% have come from English medium schools. Students, what we have just accomplished is an example of a univariate frequency table pertaining to qualitative data. अब इस जुमले में मैंने कई अल्फाज इस्तेमाल किए, univariate, frequency table और qualitative. तीनों अल्फाज पे गौर कीजिए. univariate क्यों? इसलिए कि हम इस एग्जाम्पल में सिर्फ एक वेरिएबल के साथ डील कर रहे हैं, एंड दैट इज द मीडियम ऑफ स्कूलिंग. यानी जिस स्कूल से वो आया वो उर्दू मीडियम था या इंग्लिश मीडियम. जो दूसरी टर्म मैंने इस्तेमाल की, फ्रीक्वेंसी टेबल, उसकी वजह मैं अभी आपको बता चुकी हूं कि जब कभी भी हम नंबर ऑफ आइटम्स जो फॉल करेंगे किसी पर्टिकुलर कैटेगरी में, उस नंबर को जब हम काउंट करेंगे तो उसे हम कहते हैं फ्रीक्वेंसी. हाउ फ्रीक्वेंटली दैट पर्टिकुलर थिंग हैपेंड. और तीसरा लफ्ज मैंने कहा कि दिस इज पर्टेनिंग टू क्वालिटेटिव डेटा. इस पे तो बहुत दफा बात हो चुकी है. जाहिर है कि उर्दू मीडियम डज नॉट मीन 1.79 एंड इंग्लिश मीडियम डज नॉट मीन 3.21. इसको आप न्यूमेरिकली एक्सप्रेस नहीं कर सकते, and we are definitely dealing with qualitative data. Let us now see how we can represent this data in the form of a diagram. One of the very interesting and useful ways of representing this data is in the form of a pie chart. Let us now see how we can represent this information in the form of a diagram. One of the very interesting and effective ways of representing this kind of data diagrammatically is to draw a pie chart. A pie chart consists of a circle which is divided into two or more parts in accordance with the number of categories that we have in our data. अभी जो एग्जाम्पल हमने किया उसमें जैसा कि आपने देखा कि हमारा जो वेरिएबल है मीडियम ऑफ स्कूलिंग, वो सिर्फ दो कैटेगरीज में डिवाइडेड था, उर्दू मीडियम और इंग्लिश मीडियम. इस हिसाब से इस पर्टिकुलर एग्जाम्पल में हमारा पाई चार्ट जो है, हमारा सर्कल जो है, वो सिर्फ दो ही पार्ट्स में डिवाइड होगा, एज यू कैन नाउ सी ऑन द स्क्रीन. उर्दू मीडियम के लिए वी हैव द लार्जर पार्ट ऑफ द सर्कल, इसलिए कि आपको याद होगा कि 60% ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स बिलोंग्ड टू उर्दू मीडियम स्कूल्स. और इसी तरह इंग्लिश मीडियम के लिए हमारे सर्कल का जो छोटा, रिलेटिवली छोटा जो हिस्सा है, दैट इज फॉर इंग्लिश मीडियम, बिकॉज 40% ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स केम फ्रॉम दीज स्कूल्स. अब सवाल ये पैदा होता है कि how do we decide at what angle we are supposed to cut this circle? Well, the answer is very simple. All we have to do is to convert our frequencies into angles, and we do that by dividing the frequency of any cell by the total and multiplying by 360. जैसे कि आप सब ने और हम सब ने एलिमेंट्री स्कूल में पढ़ा था, there are 360 degrees in a circle. इसलिए जब हम 719 को 1200 से डिवाइड करने के बाद 360 से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे तो हमें एंगल मिल जाएगा 215.7 डिग्रीज, जिसे आप राउंड करें तो 216 डिग्रीज भी कह सकते हैं. लिहाजा आप जब डायग्राम बनाने लगेंगे तो आप अपना जो एंगल है उसको 216 या 215.7 पे सेट करेंगे. In this way, you achieve a very attractive and beautiful diagram called the pie chart. Students, the next diagram that I will discuss with you is the simple bar chart. This is also going to be used in case of a univariate frequency table pertaining to qualitative data. Simple bar chart क्या चीज़ है? इसमें हम bars draw करते हैं, either vertical or horizontal. Most of the time we take them vertically, and the widths of these bars are equal, but the lengths of the bars vary depending on the size of our data. So let us consider an example. Suppose that we have data about the turnover of a company for a period of 5 years, as you can now see on the screen. Suppose that this turnover is for the years from 1985 to 1989, and the figures are 35,000, 42,000, 43,500, 48,000 and 48,500 rupees. अब सवाल ये है कि इस इंफॉर्मेशन को अगर हम बार चार्ट के जरिए रिप्रेजेंट करना चाहें तो किस तरह प्रोसीड करेंगे? All we have to do is to take the years along the x-axis and to construct a scale for turnover along the y-axis, as you now see on the screen. Next, against each year, we will draw vertical bars of equal width and different heights in accordance with the turnover figures that I just shared with you. As a result, we obtain a simple and yet a very beautiful diagram, as you now see on the screen. Students, I would like to convey to you a very important point, and that is a mathematical point. Point ये है कि अगरचे इन बार्स की लंबाइयाँ भी हैं और widths भी हैं, लेकिन इन widths की mathematically कोई significance नहीं है. It is only the length of the bar which conveys the figure that we are trying to represent. तो फिर सवाल ये पैदा होता है कि why did we have these widths? Then we could simply have drawn a line. Well, actually that is true. We could have simply drawn vertical lines and we did not need any width for any of these bars. लेकिन ये सिर्फ इसलिए किया जाता है कि the moment you assign a certain width, the chart becomes very attractive, and particularly so if you are coloring it according to any beautiful color of your choice. Students, what we have discussed until now is the univariate situation. Let us now discuss the bivariate situation. You see, because in the real world, most of the time, we are not dealing with just one variable. You know, we are interested in phenomena in which many variables play together and interact with each other. So if we want to begin with a very simple example, let us go back to the example of the students of first year in that co-educational college that I was talking about. Suppose करें कि हम सिर्फ इस चीज़ में इंटरेस्टेड नहीं हैं कि हम ओवरऑल एक ये पता करें कि जी आया वो उर्दू मीडियम स्कूल से आए थे या इंग्लिश मीडियम से, बल्कि हम इस बात में भी इंटरेस्टेड हैं कि लड़कियों और लड़कों के दरमियान भी डिस्टिंग्विश करें इस हिसाब से, यानी ये पता करें कि आउट ऑफ द फीमेल स्टूडेंट्स हाउ मेनी केम फ्रॉम उर्दू मीडियम एंड हाउ मेनी फ्रॉम इंग्लिश मीडियम, एंड सिमिलरली फॉर द मेल स्टूडेंट्स. तो ऐसी सिचुएशन में फिर हम क्या करेंगे? जाहिर है कि इसका मतलब ये है कि अब हमने जो डेटा कलेक्ट करना है दैट मस्ट कवर not only the medium of schooling but also the sex of the student. Suppose we do that and we interview every one of those 1200 students of first year of that college, and we ask him or her what was your school, and also we note down the gender of the student. ऐसा करने से of course we will get a table in which we will now have 3 columns, as you can see on the screen. The first one, of course, gives us the student number, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And the second gives us the schooling medium, and the third one gives us the gender of the student, which, if you look at the table, if the data is as you see, it means that the first student that we recorded, she was coming from an Urdu medium school. The second student was a boy, and he also had come from an Urdu medium school, and so on and so forth. अब सवाल ये पैदा होता है कि इस किस्म के डेटे को हम किस तरह से समराइज करेंगे? All right, in this case, we will construct a frequency table which is called a bivariate frequency table. It will consist of a box of the type that you now see on the screen. इसमें जो सबसे ऊपर वाली रो है that is called the box head, और जो सबसे पहला कॉलम है that is called the stub. Now it is our choice whether we want to write the sex of the student on the top, or do we want to write the medium of schooling on the top. It doesn't matter, that is your choice. सपोज करें कि हम स्टूडेंट के जेंडर को बॉक्स हेड में लिख लेते हैं और जो मीडियम ऑफ स्कूलिंग है उसको स्टब में लिख लेते हैं. दैट विल रिजल्ट इन द टेबल दैट यू नाउ सी. अब टेबल का ओवरऑल स्ट्रक्चर तो आपको मिल गया, लेकिन सवाल ये है कि अब हम इसको भरेंगे कैसे? तो जाहिर है कि वी विल हैव टू काउंट. We will have to count this data in 4 categories. We have to know how many students were male and came from Urdu medium schools, how many students were female and came from Urdu medium schools, how many students were male and came from English medium schools, and how many students were female and came from English medium schools. Doing this, students, suppose we get the figures that you now see on the screen. 1200 students में से 202 मेल स्टूडेंट्स थे और उर्दू मीडियम स्कूलों से आए थे, जबकि 517 फीमेल स्टूडेंट्स थीं और उर्दू मीडियम स्कूलों से ही आई थीं. अगर आप गौर करें तो 202 and 517 add up to 719, exactly the same figure that we had earlier when we were not considering the sex of the student. Similarly, 350 students male निकले जो कि इंग्लिश मीडियम स्कूलों से आए थे, और 131 लड़कियां थीं जो कि इंग्लिश मीडियम स्कूलों से आई थीं. These two figures, 350 and 131, add up to 481, exactly the same figure that we had earlier for English medium. Students, what we have just accomplished is a bivariate frequency table pertaining to qualitative data. अब आप नोट करें कि फिर से मैंने 3 अल्फाज इस्तेमाल किए, bivariate, which I'm sure now you readily recognize, frequency table, इसलिए कि वो तमाम figures जो हैं, they are frequencies of the various joint events that we were considering, और qualitative data इसलिए कि gender of the student और medium of schooling दोनों ही non-numerical data है. अब देखते हैं कि इस तरह के डेटे को हम डायग्रामेटिकली किस तरह रिप्रेजेंट करेंगे. फॉर दिस वी हैव अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग डायग्राम एंड दैट इज कॉल्ड द कंपोनेंट बार चार्ट. इसी को सब डिवाइडेड बार चार्ट भी कहते हैं. What we have to do in this particular case is that first of all we will draw a simple bar chart using one of the two variables that we have. जैसे कि आप स्क्रीन पे देख रहे हैं, सबसे पहले तो हम जेंडर के हिसाब से चार्ट्स ड्रॉ कर देंगे. मेल स्टूडेंट्स की तादाद चूंकि कम थी, इसलिए उसकी लंबाई जैसा कि आप देख रहे हैं फीमेल स्टूडेंट्स वाली जो बार है उससे कम है. Now once we have done this, the next step is to divide each of the two bars into two parts. और ये जो division है ये हम करेंगे according to the medium of schooling. अब ये हमारी अपनी मर्जी है कि हम इंग्लिश मीडियम को नीचे रखना चाहते हैं किसी भी बार में या उर्दू मीडियम को नीचे रखना चाहते हैं. सपोज करें कि हम ये डिसाइड करते हैं कि हम बार का जो निचला हिस्सा है उसे इंग्लिश मीडियम के लिए एलोकेट करेंगे और बार का जो ऊपर वाला हिस्सा है उसे उर्दू मीडियम के लिए करेंगे. इफ वी डू दैट वी गेट द डायग्राम that you now see on the screen. Now you can see that among the male students there was a greater number of English medium students than among the female students, and this is very clearly depicted in this subdivided bar chart. Students, ये component bar chart जो अभी हमने discuss किया, it is a very effective and useful diagram. इसका सबसे बड़ा फायदा ये है कि एक ही नज़र में आपको दोनों वेरिएबल्स का कंपैरिजन मिल जाता है. You can compare the number of male students with the number of female students, and also you can compare the proportion of English medium students among the males with the proportion of English medium students among the females. The next diagram that we will discuss today is the multiple bar chart. A multiple bar chart is also a very interesting diagram and a very beautiful diagram, and it is used in a situation where we have two or more related sets of data. Let us consider an example. Suppose we have, as you can now see on the screen, data about the imports and exports of Pakistan for the years 1970-71 to 1974-75. And suppose that we wish to represent this information in the form of a multiple bar chart. तो इसके लिए हम क्या करेंगे? This time we will be drawing vertical bars, one for imports and the other for exports, in such a way that both the bars will be adjacent to each other, यानी वो एक दूसरे को टच कर रही होंगी. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, जब आप 1970-71 के लिए बार्स ड्रॉ करना चाहेंगे तो जो पहली बार है दैट विल बी 370 यूनिट्स लॉन्ग और जो दूसरी बार है that will be 200 units long. Similarly, जब आप 71-72 के लिए ड्रॉ करेंगे The first one will be 350 units long and the second one 337. In this manner, you will get a diagram as you now see on the screen. Now, one thing which is very important is the shading of the diagram. चूंकि हर ईयर के लिए पहली बार imports को represent कर रही है, इसलिए it's natural कि हमें imports के लिए एक color इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए. Similarly, the second bar is representing the exports and hence we use a different color for the exports. As a result, we get a very interesting and beautiful diagram as you now see. ये जो example हमने अभी किया, इसमें हमारे पास दो related variables थे, imports and exports. But of course, the multiple bar chart can also be used effectively if we have three pieces of information. अगर हमारे पास imports और exports के अलावा production का भी data होता, तो we could simply have drawn one more bar against each year, adjacent to the first two, and we would have used a different color for that third bar. Students, what is the basic difference between a component bar chart and a multiple bar chart? और ये एक ऐसा point है जिस पे students अक्सर confuse होते हैं. हालांकि it is very simple. The only thing to remember is that the component bar chart is to be used when we are dealing with totals and their components. For example, जो हमने first year students वाली example की, उसमें we had the total number of male students, out of which so many were English medium and so many were Urdu medium. Similarly, we had the total number of female students, out of which so many were English medium and so many were Urdu medium. इसके बरक्स multiple bar chart वहाँ इस्तेमाल करेंगे जहाँ पे वो जो दो pieces of information हैं, they are related but they do not add up to give you some one thing. Imports and exports cannot be added to give you some one quantity the way you had in the first exam. Students, आज के इस लेक्चर में हमने अभी तक जो डिस्कशन की है, that was pertaining to a qualitative variable or more than one qualitative variables. Let us now start the discussion of the quantitative situation. As you can see on the screen, the quantitative variable is of two types, as of course we have discussed in our first lecture, the discrete variable and the continuous variable. For the discrete variable, we will be constructing a frequency distribution and will be drawing a line chart. For the continuous variable, again, we will be constructing a frequency distribution and will be drawing the histogram, the frequency polygon, and the frequency curve. Let us first consider the discrete case with the help of a very simple example. Suppose we walk into the nursery class of a small primary school and we count the number of books and copies that every student has in his or her bag. Obviously, we will get data which will be in whole numbers, as you can now see on the screen. 3, 5, 7, 9, this is the number of books and copies that the various children have in their bags. अब इस डेटे को हम frequency distribution में किस तरह convert करेंगे? The first thing to do is to denote our variable by x and then make a column of the x values that we have in our data. So as you now see, we will have a column which is headed number of books, and the number of books is denoted by x, and the numbers are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. वजह ये कि जिस स्कूल में हम गए थे उसकी नर्सरी क्लास में बच्चों के पास जो किताबें थी उनकी मिनिमम तादाद 3 थी और मैक्सिमम तादाद 9 थी. So we have the column of the variable x. Next, we need to count the number of times the various values of x occur in our data. So for this purpose, we will construct 2 more columns which are adjacent to the column that we have just constructed. The first of these 2 columns is for tally marks and the second for frequency. So जैसा कि आप देख रहे हैं हमारे पास अब 3 कॉलम हैं जिनमें से सेकंड कॉलम को अब हमें भरना है. As you saw a short while ago, our data consists of the values 3, 5, 7, 9 and so on. So if we want to do this process of tallying manually, then of course the easiest way is to pick up the values one by one and put a tally mark in the second column of our table. So because the first value is 3, we will put a stroke in the second column against the number x equal to 3, as you can now see on the screen. उससे अगली value जो है that is 5 and hence as you can now see our second tally stroke will be against the value x equal to 5. So it is a very simple process. हम अपने डेटा सेट की एक एक वैल्यू उठाते जाएंगे और x कॉलम के अगेंस्ट प्रॉपर जगहों पर उसको मार्क करते जाएंगे. Now continuing in this process, we obtain the distribution that you now see on the screen. हमने तमाम वैल्यूज को टैली मार्क्स के कॉलम में टैली कर दिया और उसके नतीजे में हमारा सारा का सारा डेटा इस टेबल के अंदर समा गया. अब जो चीज नोट करने की है, जैसा कि आप देख रहे हैं कि हर 4 वर्टिकल स्ट्रोक्स के बाद 5वां जो स्ट्रोक है वो हॉरिजॉन्टली डाला गया है इस तरह से कि वो पहली 4 लाइनों को इंटरसेक्ट करता है. दिस इज ओनली फॉर कन्वीनियंस. द रीजन इज दैट इट इज easy for us to count the number of strokes if they have been grouped into sets of 5 rather than if all of them were in the form of vertical bars. अब सवाल ये है कि इस टेबल को जो हमने अभी अभी कंस्ट्रक्ट की है फ्रीक्वेंसी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन क्यों कहते हैं? The reason is that the total frequency 45 has been distributed among the various values of x. One of those 45 values has been allocated to x equal to 3. 3 of the 45 values have been allocated to x equal to 4. 9 of the values have been allocated to x equal to 5 and so on. यानी बहुत सिंपल सी बात है कि टोटल फ्रीक्वेंसी को हमने डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर दिया among the various categories, and that is why it is appropriate to call it a discrete frequency distribution. Let us now consider the graphical representation of this table that we have just constructed. The best way of doing this is by way of the line chart. The line chart is in a way quite similar to the simple bar chart that we discussed a short while ago when we were dealing with the situation of a univariate frequency table. वहाँ पे आपको याद होगा कि आपने वो बार्स बनाई थी जिनकी लंबाइयाँ उन वैल्यूज के मुताबिक थी जो हम रिप्रेजेंट करना चाह रहे थे, लेकिन उसमें आपको याद होगा कि उसकी उन सब बार्स की एक विड्थ भी थी जिनको हमने कलर कर दिया था in order to make the chart very attractive. आपको याद होगा कि मैंने उसी वक्त कहा था कि वो जो विड्थ है उसकी कोई मैथमेटिकल सिग्निफिकेंस नहीं है. यहाँ पे हम वो विड्थ नहीं बनाएंगे. This is going to be more accurate from the mathematical standpoint. All we have to do is to take the x values along the x-axis and the frequencies along the y-axis, as you now see on the screen. इसके बाद we will be drawing vertical lines against each value of x in accordance with the frequencies that we have. You will remember that the frequency of x is equal to 3 was 1, and hence the first vertical line is only 1 unit tall. The second frequency was 3, and accordingly the line is 3 units tall. Similarly, we have for all the values, and as such we get a simple and yet effective way of representing discrete frequency distribution. इसमें जो बात important है वो ये है कि आप ये देखें कि we have used separate lines rather than a continuous curve that we usually draw when we are drawing graphs. This is very important. The reason is that we are dealing with a discrete variable and our graph must convey the concept of discontinuity. अगर हम ये separate lines ना बनाते बल्कि इन points को plot करके हम एक continuous curve के जरिए उनको जोड़ देते तो that would have given an impression of continuity, which, as I mentioned earlier, is not going to be appropriate for this kind of an example. एक बच्चे के बैग में या 3 किताबें होंगी या 4 होंगी, 3.5 किताबें नहीं होंगी. इसलिए this is a very important point, that the reason why a line chart is a better way of representing discrete variable is that the separate lines do convey the concept of discontinuity. Students, what we have just done is the tabular and diagrammatic representation of a discrete variable. ये जो discrete frequency distribution का concept है, इसमें 2-3 concepts हैं जो कि मैं अभी आपको convey करना चाहती हूँ. अभी जो हमने बनाई थी, they were the frequencies, the absolute frequencies. जैसा कि आपको याद होगा और आप स्क्रीन पे भी देख रहे हैं कि there was only 1 student who had 3 books and 3 students who had 4. Now, this information is not extremely useful if supposing we did not have the value of the total number of students. अगर आप वो 45 वहाँ से गायब कर देते तो आप एकदम से जज ना कर पाते कि क्या सिचुएशन है. So what we do is to construct a column of relative frequencies, and that is called a relative frequency distribution. अब relative frequency से क्या मुराद है? Extremely simple. All we will be doing is to divide every frequency by the total frequency, and that will give us the relative frequency of that particular x value. We can convert these relative frequencies into percentages, and as we all know, percentages जो हैं वो तो एक आम आदमी बहुत जल्दी समझता है, शायद relative frequency को वो इतनी जल्दी ना समझ पाए. All we have to multiply the relative frequency of any x value by the number 100. As you all know, that's a very simple procedure. So 1/45 into 100 gives you the percentage of students who had 3 books in their bags, and 9/45 into 100 gives you the percentage of students who had 5 books in their bag. Another very interesting and important concept is that of the cumulative frequencies. देखिए, मुमकिन है कि हमें इस तरह की इंफॉर्मेशन में इंटरेस्ट हो कि जी इस क्लास में कितने बच्चे हैं या कितने फीसद बच्चे हैं जिनके पास जो अपने घरों से 3 से ज़्यादा किताबें लेकर नहीं आते, हालांकि जो उनकी जो रिक्वायरमेंट है उसके मुताबिक उनको रोज 6 या 7 सब्जेक्ट पढ़ने होते हैं और उसके मुताबिक उनको 6 या 7 किताबें लानी चाहिए थी. So if we are interested in this kind of information, how many students brought only 3, 4 or at the most 5 books and not more than that? तो हम ये किस तरह से मालूम करेंगे? जैसा कि आप स्लाइड में देख रहे हैं, we have 1 student who brought 3 books, 3 students who brought 4 and 9 students who brought 5. जाहिर है कि हमें इनको इन 3 नंबरों को ऐड करना पड़ेगा in order to get the total number of students who brought 5 or less books. Yani 1 plus 3 plus 9. In other words, 13. So out of 45, 13 students are of this type who did not bring more than 5 books. तो इस तरह आप देख रहे हैं कि ये काफ़ी कंफ्यूजिंग है अगर हम इस तरह से डायरेक्टली पढ़ना चाहें. So a very convenient way of getting over this problem is by constructing another column, a column of cumulative frequencies. All we have to do is this. The first frequency 1 remains as it is. 1 plus 3 equal to 4 comes against the value x equal to 4. 4 plus 9 equal to 13 is written against x equal to 5. 13 plus 13 equal to 26 is written against x equal to 6, and so on. As you can see, the last cumulative frequency is 45, exactly the same as the total number of students that we had in our data set. अब इस कॉलम को पढ़ने से हमें बहुत आसानी के साथ मालूम हो जाता है कि how many students brought 5 books or less, 7 books or less, 3 books or less. For example, as you can see, in a glance we can say that 13 students were such who brought 5 books or less, and 26 students were such who brought 6 or less. So this is the advantage of a cumulative frequency distribution. आज के इस लेक्चर में हमने कई टॉपिक्स डिस्कस किए हैं. I started from the tabular and diagrammatic representation of qualitative data, and we discussed both cases, the univariate situation and the bivariate situation. उसके बाद we dealt with the tabular and diagrammatic representation of a discrete quantitative variable. Next time we will be discussing the tabular and diagrammatic representation of continuous quantitative variable. In particular, we will be doing the continuous frequency distribution, the histogram, the frequency polygon, and the frequency curve. Also, we will be doing the cumulative frequency distribution for a continuous situation, and we will be drawing the cumulative frequency polygon, which is also called OGIV. In the meantime, I would like to encourage you students to practice the various concepts that we have discussed today, and I would like to recommend to you to attempt at least 4 or 5 questions of the exercise of chapter 2 in your textbook. Best of luck, and until next time, Allah Hafiz.